I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Folkloric.
Close your eyes for a moment and remember the thrill of waking up half asleep to find a tiny coin under your pillow. That flutter in your chest, the sparkle of magic that you believed in. Why does this ritual exist and where did it come from? We'll travel through medieval Europe, sail with Vikings, cross continents, and explore the very heart of what losing a tooth means. When we go over the Tooth Fairy.
Before we start, what made you choose the Tooth Fairy?
I chose the Tooth Fairy because it's always kind of been a thing in the back of my mind. As a child, I knew it wasn't real. You buy into the not real of it.
Like the Santa Claus thing, yeah.
Even more so than that because it's so fantastical.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of been a skeptic of just about everything, but I have to reason things out. And as a child, I could not reason the Tooth Fairy into existence. But everyone seemed to buy into the giant idea. Everyone I knew, the children, the adults, they all bought into the Tooth Fairy as this ritual.
Yeah.
And that is why I wanted to kind of go over it or discuss it today. It's like one of the cryptids, but it's not a cryptid.
Yeah, it's like when we went over unicorns, it's a cryptid, but it's not, you know.
Right, it's a mythology we created within recent history, though it dates back further than that in different forms.
Yeah.
When we talk about the Tooth Fairy, we talk about the American version.
Yes.
Or the American ideal of the Tooth Fairy, which is literally a little fairy that comes in and takes a tooth off your pillow and then leaves some change. Or, you know...
There's an exchange happening.
Well, there's an exchange rate as well.
Yes. It's gone up immensely.
And it does have to account for inflation. I'm not really sure how the Tooth Fairy does all of that.
I don't know, because I know that, like, I would get quarters and my kids would want dollars. And then, like, when I was working in the schools, I'd have kids who were like, I got $50 from the Tooth Fairy. What? Your teeth? What? What?
Right. So... You know, when you lose a tooth, it's a visceral thing.
Yeah.
I remember as a child losing teeth and just being completely wigged out that I lost them. And a lot of times that you didn't wait for them to fall out.
You'd pull them, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't really... Back then, they didn't really wait for them to fall out. They'd be really loose and everything. And then your parents would... And my father literally did this. Tied a string onto my tooth.
To a doorknob?
And onto a doorknob. But he didn't use the outside door, the heavy outside door. He used a lighter inside door for some reason. And it didn't work. So he tried several times.
Oh, no.
And it didn't work.
Oh, no.
And I just remember, like, they gave up. And then my grandmother, who had stood by this whole time while my parents were trying to get this tooth out.
Yeah.
Even trying to manually pull it with their fingers.
Oh.
And I'm losing my mind because I'm a child and it hurts.
Yeah, no, it doesn't hurt. It hurts.
My grandmother very calmly takes me to the side while they're done. You know, they're discussing what they're going to do or whatever. They've gone into another room. And she cuts up a piece of apple. And I didn't think anything of it. She just hands me a piece of apple and I start to eat it and it came out in the apple.
I lost my first tooth in an apple. I was going to tell you that. I think I swallowed it though. Because I ate the apple and all of a sudden my tooth was gone and I was like, oh, and because the night before my uncles had been trying to do the door thing with oh God, I forget which uncle it was, but I just remember it was when we all lived in that one house when I was a kid. And my uncle was trying to get to the bathroom door. He had a piece of dental floss.
Right.
And it didn't work. And, well, I also had a meltdown, you know.
Yeah, my dad used twine.
Oh, my God. Well, I already had a problem with my family thinking I was over emotional as a kid as it was. So I kind of, I was having a meltdown because my tooth, it was going to hurt. No, don't do that with the door. I mean, I was just like panicking. And so I don't think they actually followed through with it. But then the next day I was at lunch in school and I ate an apple, and I realized after I had eaten the apple that my tooth was gone. So I'm pretty sure I swallowed my first tooth.
That's okay. You remanufactured it. You put it back into the system.
Well, according to my mom, the tooth fairy magicked it out of me.
Oh, there you go. See?
Whoa.
The tooth fairy covers a lot of sins.
Oh, she does. She does.
So lose a tooth, don't worry. You didn't lose it.
Poop it out later.
Here's your quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know what your exchange rate was.
Quarters. I was quarters.
So traditionally in my family, and this is something that has always been, $50.
That's cool.
We always got a $50.
And that's actually cool because a $50 is, you don't see that. It's not a common.
It was unusual even then.
Yeah. So that makes it more fantasy. And
right. And I don't know if it was my father or my grandfather that had started that tradition. Or if maybe it was before them. I never did ask, and now I have no way of knowing because they're all gone. Yeah,
like I never really asked if my mom, like if they did the tooth fairy thing with my mom or with my grandmother. How did they do the tooth fairy during the Depression? These are things I really wished I had asked my grandparents when they were, my great-grandmother when she was alive. That would have been interesting. What did the tooth fairy exchange for a tooth when you had nothing?
This might be a good way to give our listeners a reason to ask their parents.
It's important.
Or their grandparents. How did our particular tradition come about? Because everyone's got a slightly different one. My mother had a small pillow. And there was a little pocket in it with a tie so you could close the pocket. It was very fancy, but it's something my grandmother had made.
Oh, that's sweet.
So it's something that the pillow went under your pillow with the tooth inside. And then when you woke up, there'd be a $50 in there.
So nothing so magical. You wrapped the tooth in a tissue. You put it under your pillow. The tooth and the tissue would be gone, and the money would be under your pillow. And I ended up doing the same thing with my kids but honestly, so that weird ceramic thing in the hallway thingy, our little insert thing that I made millions of years ago that we can't really take anything out of.
Sure.
I think most of our youngest baby teeth are in there.
They are.
And I don't know what happened to the older two's baby teeth because we moved, and I don't think I saved them. And I kind of, knowing what I know now about the Fae and tooth fairies, I have regrets.
Right. Well, I should mention we're practicing witches. I'm a secular witch. I don't believe in gods, and I don't believe that power derives from them. And you are?
I really don't know what. I there's so many things like...
Well, you don't have to say either, but you're a practicing witch.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so many things out there that are like, oh, I'm a green witch, I'm a hedge witch, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm an eclectic. I like a little bit of everything. I believe in gods. I don't practice my craft with a god or goddess.
Sure.
I believe in nature. I believe in the metaphysical, the paranormal, anything like that.
And I tend towards skepticism.
Yes. I believe in working with the spirits of the land. I believe in working with elementals in a respectful form. And I kind of believe in the Fae. And the reason why I believe in Fae, and this goes back to being a small child with what I was told was an overactive imagination, because nobody ever believed what I saw. I know what I saw, and what I would see is, when you're laying on your bed at night and you have your knees up and there's a shadow on the wall. If I did that, I could see little shadows of little...
In the shadows?
No, not in the shadows. Rolling down the hill that is the shadow of my legs.
Oh, okay.
And they would climb up and they'd roll down. And I remember seeing this as a little kid. I don't have the best vision. Could it have been my imagination? Possible, most likely, whatever. Depending on your belief, there you go. But I know what I saw, and I know what my little brain thought it saw. And I believe also that we're very open to things as children, and as we grow older and we're told that these things aren't real, that your brain starts to protect itself and shut things out. And it takes a lot for you to open those windows again.
I think that's a very real possibility. When I was a child, I remember that there was we had these brick columns outside our home to hold up the carport. They weren't just outside there for no reason.
Yeah.
They were bare brick, and one of the columns, one of the bricks had come loose, and it cracked. So it was open, and you could see into it. And as a child, for whatever reason, I believed something lived in there, and I would talk to it.
Aw.
And that was the thing that lived in there. I never defined it.
Yeah.
But it had a voice. I distinctly remember the voice. And it was kind of gruff, kind of older.
Yeah.
But feminine. Like it was an older...
like an older woman.
Kind of like a grandmotherly kind of... But not mean, just gruff, you know. And I remember that voice. And I'm not sure if I imagined it.
Yeah.
If I just had an imaginary friend, or if it was something else I was talking to, perhaps a fae.
I mean, if you ask my mom, I used to talk to trees. I thought, as an adult looking back, I thought I was talking to a squirrel in a tree. I was 6, but my mother said that I used to sit out in the backyard and talk to the trees.
I talk to trees.
I talk to the trees now, so I
do
mean,
it now, so it's not going to hurt anything to be polite.
No, and honestly, they need somebody to talk to them once in a while.
So let's get back to the tooth fairy. In early Europe, the rituals surrounding lost teeth were often driven by fear.
Yes.
Malevolent forces that are evil, or it doesn't have to necessarily be evil, just forces over your ability to maintain control.
Well, yeah. I mean, anytime you take a part of somebody, and that's just the basis in witchcraft, is having any type of dominion, whether it is blood, body, bone, hair, or name. Those are things that are powerful. And if you give them away freely, people have power over you.
And in this case, that thing that could be given freely is a tooth. And so burning teeth was a common practice in England. It was meant to protect the child in the afterlife. European folklore also taught that burning the tooth could defend that individual from witches.
Okay.
You know, from the curse of a witch or whatever. And it was a pretty pervasive belief that existed, and I think a lot of things sprung up around that. I am by no means an expert in mythology, which is why we're talking about it.
Yes, because we're not experts. We just enjoy it.
But we are children of mythology. These things have been passed down, and we are still disseminating all the things that have been thrown to us, not just from our own cultures, but from the many cultures we now have access to, their information.
Yes.
So now we get to see a worldwide aspect of things like magic and ritual, and how those things can change your world even if you don't use them. It's now in your head. You now know about it, and now you form opinion and you form ideals based on that information that now exists.
Yes.
The Tooth Fairy is one of those mythologies that is so relatively new in the historical context that I think it came up around all of these rituals for losing a tooth, which is this very visceral loss. It's something every child endures.
Well, kids tend to, this is an issue with not just teeth, but potty training a child, a toddler, they will go through, not every one of them does, but there's a lot of them that have issues with leaving that poopy behind, because to them, it's a part of them. And they don't want to go to the bathroom because they don't want to lose that part of them, because they don't understand that it's fecal matter. We want it gone. It is poopy. But they don't see that at first. It takes them a while to grasp that concept. And that's why you'll have a lot of problems with a lot of poop retention. Sometimes it's because they just don't like the pooping, or they just don't like the feeling, or they're not recognizing the feeling. But then there's that group that is, it's definitely, that's my, oh my God, I think I had a student who cried when I was, my very first preschool class. We were doing potty training, and they went to the bathroom, and they didn't usually poop at school, and they cried when we flushed the toilet. So yes, children have a problem getting, seeing a part of themselves. So a tooth would be devastating, because not only is it a part of them, but it's something that now they're going to see that whole.
It's an active part.
Yeah, it's an active part. It's something they need every single day.
Most of these rituals that surround the tooth or the loss of a tooth is about protection.
Yes.
About protecting your child, or protecting the tooth from being placed in the wrong hands or misused in some way. In other cultures, the focus is shifted from that fear of evil to hope for a positive outcome.
Okay.
So we have different things that are applied to this. So like in the Middle East, like in Iraq or Jordan, throwing a tooth towards the sun or the sky has been a custom for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And that belief is part of like that it will grow, the new tooth will grow big and strong because of it.
Oh, okay.
So you're almost in a way making an offering. It's not to anything specific so much as part of the ritual.
Well, also you're throwing it away from you, so at a distance that if somebody with malicious intent were to find it, they're not going to be able to trace it back to you.
Right.
It would take a lot. Yeah.
Throwing it towards the sun is that symbolic act.
Yes.
And then, we have like in parts of Asia, the directional toss is also kind of practiced. India, Japan, Korea, China, Vietnam, they all throw a lower jaw tooth onto the roof, and they throw an upper jaw tooth onto the floor.
Oh, so the opposite.
Yes, the opposite. I was trying to say it right so that I wouldn't mix it up.
So the bottom teeth.
It seems intuitive once you say it, but before that, it's kind of counterintuitive.
Oh, yeah. So any tooth that is from your lower
jaw goes onto the roof,
which is above, and anything from your upper part of your jaw
gets thrown to the floor or on the ground.
Or on the ground.
Yes.
So yeah, opposites, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of a sympathetic magic is what that is.
Yeah.
This is meant to influence the new tooth's growth, encouraging it to grow straight in the correct direction. Again, if we're talking about these cultures in which the misalignment of teeth can be a life or death situation.
Oh, yeah.
And in most cases it is for any culture, really. But a lot of these places didn't have any advanced dentistry for quite a while. And they needed something to reassure them that their baby was going to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
And that child as well.
I mean, we had our youngest had an Annie McPhee tooth that stuck out straight. So, I mean, we get that, Thank God for
you worry about that type of thing.
Oh, yeah. If we didn't have, abilities to have braces or dentistry, yeah, that can be very, very, because that can also affect not just their health and their ability to thrive, but people have stigmas. It's that, witch, you're a witch, or something evil, or that they were cursed or something because they don't look like everybody else.
Well, part of that action, part of that, the reason why that ritual, I believe, exists is because when you're doing it, it's an action.
Oh, yeah.
You feel better because you've done something.
Oh, yeah, with intention.
Doing nothing feels worse.
Oh, yeah.
So it's important to do something, even if it doesn't necessarily come to anything. you've at least feel like you've done something.
It's almost, and like you were saying, it's kind of almost like a spell, because it is the basis of all spell work is intention. So while intention is not the be all end all of spell work, it's an important aspect of it.
Sure.
So having the intention of good outcome for truth growth,
yeah, you need a direction, you need will, and you need intention. And that's your kind of your triumvirate of the things that you need for a basic spell.
Yeah.
And I think that, pragmatically and physically, it's a direct attempt to kind of have some kind of control over a biological process you really have no control over otherwise.
God, I think, obviously, evolution being what it is, you have to wonder, like, what early people thought of these things when they happened. Like, just like the ones who didn't have written word or lore, the more animalistic side of humanity.
Right.
It just always makes me wonder, like, what was going through their heads when the weird shit that we just take for granted as normalcy, it's our everyday life. We lose baby teeth, and then we know that the adult ones are coming in. Oh my God, have you ever seen an MRI of a baby skull with all those fucking teeth? That is horrifying.
It kind of, actually, to me, it's beautiful.
Too many teeth.
What I love about it, it reminds me so much of how shark teeth
That's
form.
true.
Because they come around, they kind of like a Rolodex. And to me, I think that it's like a link to our more animalistic side, to our more primal nature. That this evolution has refined so much that we actually contain it all, and it does it fairly effortlessly.
It really, and it doesn't without our permission, there's no trigger that we're doing. It's not like, because even going through puberty, there are certain, like, points you have to hit in your body.
Right.
And if you, like, are under weight, or you are malnourished, or there's many different factors that can actually, like, stop certain parts of puberty from continuing. Your body will retain, because it's trying to preserve itself in self-preservation, but you'll still lose your damn teeth. Those baby teeth are going.
That's true. So they're kind of going to that animalistic thing.
Yeah.
We have an attachment to who we are and how we connect to the natural world.
Yes.
So, like, in places like Russia and Mexico, it is fairly common to give teeth to animals.
Yes, I did see that.
To give them to mice or to rats.
So they'll eat them.
Right, because you're giving them away. You're offering them to this animal who is going to use it.
Yes.
And it's, again, another sympathetic magic.
And also,
another form.
Nobody can use it against you if it's been digested.
Right, absolutely. And they would hope that the new adult teeth would inherit those desirable traits of, like, the mouse or the rat, the strong teeth that they have. Because rats are known for their strong teeth. So you're kind of asking for that trait to be given to your child.
Yes.
So it is something that is very steeped in the natural world, that you're trying to draw that energy. That's intent.
Yes.
And that is definitely using your will to try to manufacture this magic. And I think that when, like in the Cherokee, they gave them to beavers.
Oh, okay.
Squirrels in Sri Lanka, dogs in Central Asia. It's a fairly common practice.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised we didn't really do it here.
You would think.
And I'm saying by we didn't do it here, I'm saying we, white people.
Yes. Europeans,
for the most part, did not do it here.
No, that we didn't pick up on the indigenous, traditions.
Because we often appropriate aspects of other societies because our culture is not ours. Our culture is appropriated.
No, our white culture is almost non-existent and at all. And so, yeah, it's nice to think that, we had an opportunity to pick up on something that could have been pretty interesting. Turkeys are native to the United States. We could have been giving turkeys our teeth.
And I do love a turkey.
We do have turkeys in our yard right now, and I can't imagine giving them teeth.
But I love them.
I do too.
So the Viking have a word called thanfey.
Okay.
Which is the precursor to the financial exchange.
Okay.
So it's kind of the bartering of the tooth.
I like that. Tooth barter.
It's where the tooth is the first lost tooth. Unlike the disposal rituals of other cultures, they had acquisition and possession of the tooth. It was believed that children's teeth were powerful good luck charms. Mm-hmm. And Norse warriors would make necklaces out of them to wear in battle for protection.
Okay, I could see that. That would be cool. I would have a necklace made of my children's teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks morbid and disturbing now, but I think back in the Norse times, the Viking times, that would be badass.
I think if you were to visualize it, if you were actually see what they were, they wouldn't be like you're thinking.
Well, I think anytime you utilize...
They would look like pearls.
But even then, I think anytime you utilize any type of bone or whether it's human or non-human in jewelry... It immediately in people, and if it's even slightly recognizable, then immediately people take it as a morbid thing.
Yeah, rather than the thing that it could be, which is to honor that loss.
Yes,
and I think that like the valuation points out that there is a value to that loss. You're not just losing something, but you're gaining something else.
Exactly.
And you're gaining protection, you're getting good luck, that kind of thing. And, it's oftentimes it's a potent amulet. Other than just, the necklace that you wear, but it becomes a focus of your will. And the moment in history in which the Vikings start doing this, it introduces that monetary value.
Yes.
And now you have set the stage for our modern tradition of the money under the pillow, Tooth Fairy giving you money in exchange for that tooth.
Okay.
So the modern tradition of a magical being collecting lost teeth did not arise from a singular aspect. Instead, it emerged from a blend of many European and American cultural trends. There's the prominent figure that to predate American Tooth Fairy is the tooth mouse in France.
Aw.
I know, isn't that adorable? La Petite Seros. I think I said it right. I don't know. Seros. I think it's Seros. It's Souris. It means the little mouse. It's adorable.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even know how to begin to pronounce it.
I want a little tooth mouse. I would love
mouse.
I would love it forever. But it's often traced to the 17th century fairy tale by Baroness and I'm going to murder this name. De Launay. It's D hyphen AULNOY. Titled Le Bon Petit Seros, the good little mouse. Here, you want to see? I think it's De Launay.
D'Aulnoy? I would say D'Aulnoy.
You got to speak in the microphone, though.
Well, I would say Baroness D'Aulnoy.
Okay, we'll say that.
But I could be wrong.
I don't speak French.
I mean, neither do I.
And I have a really tough time sometimes. I understand a lot of foreign languages, but I can't pronounce them.
My great-grandmother spoke French, that she refused to teach us because she said we were American and we lived in America and we speak English. And she refused to teach any of us.
Which I think is a tragedy that we ever did that to.
Oh,
we should always be teaching new things and old things. We should be teaching languages.
Oh, yes.
Because of the joy of learning.
Oh, yeah. And then my cousins taught my little I think I was like maybe 2 or 3. Self had to say, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? And my great-grandmother comes running into the room. What did you teach that baby how to say? Not realizing there was a song. But she was not happy.
Okay. So the original story is about a magical fairy who transforms into a mouse to defeat an evil king.
Aww.
Yeah.
That sounds very nutcrackery in a way, but not
In
quite.
the tale, it contains a brief mention of the king losing his teeth, but there's no explicit connection beyond that for collecting children's teeth. But I believe that, and many believe that it is traced to that aspect, that it kind of became adopted as part of a tradition. In Spanish and Latin American cultures, the figure is El Retochina. I'm going to murder all these. Perez, the little mouse. So it's El Ratoncino, El Ratachito. Maybe you should be. I'm saying I'm very bad at pronouncing.
I mean, this could be. I could be wrong. Was it an N or was it an Enye? Did it have a little squiggle over the N?
No.
Okay. Ratoncito.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
El ratoncito. Again, I don't speak Spanish either. I just know how to recognize some of the letters.
Well, you learned Spanish at some point.
I took 2 years of Spanish, and I still can't speak Spanish.
2 years more than I did. It taught you how to.
And they weren't consecutive either. I took one in high school and one in college.
Okay.
So they were non-consecutive. 2 years of Spanish, one, and I can't speak Spanish.
The character has a specific and well-documented origin story. In 1894, Jesuit Luis Coloma was commissioned to write a story for the 8-year-old Alfonso, King of Spain. When he lost his first tooth, his story describes a mouse living with his family in a cookie box that collects teeth and leaves gifts.
That's painfully cute as well.
It really is. But the narrative was created for a royal audience, and it quickly spread and became a cherished tradition, with the mouse's fictional residence in Madrid becoming a cultural landmark.
Oh, that's so neat. I didn't know that.
If you look at it, the American Tooth Fairy...
It's so bland.
It's not bland. It seems bland, but it's a blending of all these other traditions. Because we are a melting pot, or we're supposed to be a melting pot. And that means no one thing is going to stick out.
Yeah.
But we are a fabulous stew.
Really, we are. We really are. With some bread.
We can be.
We can be a fabulous
We should
stew.
be.
With some nice crusty bread on the side.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, we tend to want to be broth.
Well, the American...
Watered down broth.
The American Tooth Fairy, as she is known today, is largely a modern phenomenon. It's a product of the post-World War II era. It's a direct synthesis of two distinct concepts, which is the transactional tooth mouse of Europe and the popular gentle fairy trope of England.
Yes.
So we kind of mushed it together in that nice little stew of toothiedom. The image of the Tooth Fairy itself was heavily influenced by the benevolent, magical characters in media such as Disney's Cinderella and Tinkerbell, which kind of reinforced that idea of the winged tiny fairy in a tutu. So it shifted from the mouse to a small humanesque
magical creature.
Magical creature, yeah. So that is kind of how we come to this. There's no direct way to the American synthesis of the Tooth Fairy. It is, as all things, a handed-down tradition that has been told through story and more modernly through movies, television, and it's become an aspect of magic made practical because you're getting rid of the tooth.
You are.
You're practically calming your child for losing that tooth. They gain something from it, and the magic is done.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
It's a practical magic.
And on top of that, it's very transactional, and it's also very consumerist, because it's
Oh yeah, it's a very capitalist kind of
capitalist.
ideal.
That was the word I was looking for, capitalist.
Sure.
And it's something that, you know, we're starting them really young. Money. I give you this, you give me money. I mean, granted, it is a barter system, because they're not in a way, they're giving you something that they made. They're giving you the tooth that they made. And then you're giving them something in return. So yeah, you are teaching very early on capitalism. And now I have that money and I can go buy things with it. I can go get, you know, with my quarter.
Well, we actually did take our $50 and save them.
Yeah.
My parents had bought these books. Cardboard books are for putting coins into.
Mm-hmm.
And you would try to match the dates up.
Oh, okay.
So anything outside of those books, like if they had duplicates, we got to keep those. And we could keep the books too. They were ours.
Yeah.
We just didn't spend them.
Yeah. We used to have quarter books when the state quarters first came out. Yeah.
Yeah. I literally did not spend those books. And you're going to get mad. I kept those books.
Uh-huh.
Since I was a child.
Yeah.
I cashed them in so that I could help you buy clothes. All those $50, that's where I was getting the money from.
Oh, man.
It was well worth it.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Beth helped me when I was in a really, really bad place in my life. We'd been friends forever. And we were getting together at that time, and I was really struggling with 3 children. And that makes me sad.
It made me happy because those books had just sat there.
I know, but
and I called my mother, and she had sent them. She'd gotten the cash for them and sent me the cash. So she had sold them because they had increased in value.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it. They were just sitting in storage.
Yeah, I know, but it's still sad. And the clothes weren't for me; they were for the kids. So.
Right. I was happy to do it. My kids.
Yeah.
So I didn't have an issue with that.
I know. It's just, it's one of those things. You know how I am about things that we had in the past.
Sure.
Don't get me started on those damn records.
But the thing I had in the past was your friendship. Mm-hmm. And that meant a lot more to me than some books that I gathered over the years. That magic had been held in stasis.
I get that.
Until I got to use it. And that is what it's for.
Mm-hmm. Magic
should be used. And you should use it for good. And I think it's okay.
I just understand the loss of something. When my grandfather was alive, he had this little metal box he would take out, and he had all these old bills from different time periods and all over, I guess, around the world and stuff. And I believe he had like Confederate money. I mean, it was like old stuff that he'd been saving for years. And he used to always sit there and tell me that he was going to give it to me one day. And when he passed away, I never saw that stuff. I never saw the box again. I never saw I had a pony saddle that he kept for me from when I was really, really, really little. I never saw any of that again. So that's that attachment that I have to things that are material because of they relate to somebody. So when something like that, knowing that you get rid of them, I know it didn't have the same attachment to somebody else as my stuff had to my grandfather. It still makes me a little sad, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's one of those things you're supposed to pass things on.
Yeah.
We should not be hoarding wealth.
No.
We should be using what we have to help other people. And it wasn't just for you. It helped me because you helped heal me.
I understand that. This is the other podcast.
Sure. But emotions play into a lot of this because losing a tooth is like a natural biological process.
Yeah.
And it causes anxiety and fear in children.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this marked discomfort, and the physical side of losing that body part, like you talked about, you can see it. Anthropologist Cindy Dell Clark, in her work, Flights of Fancy, Leaps of Faith, argues that children's myths, like the Tooth Fairy, are not merely imaginary, but they serve as like an important psychological role.
Okay.
The myth helps children to cope with the anxiety of bodily change and provide a sense of control during what's obviously an otherwise unsettling time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember when I lost my teeth. I think everyone remembers when they lost their teeth. It completely wigs you out. This body part is gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to get another one? You don't know, because as a child, you're like, there's no guarantees. I mean, they say I'm going to get a tooth, but how do I know?
Yeah.
And then when you start getting it, you're like, oh, well, this hurts like hell.
Yeah.
But by turning that loss of tooth into a rewarding experience, it helps them build a positive association
Mm-hmm.
to that, to their health, to their dental health. And it lessens the fear of those future dental visits and stuff, because that's the reason for the lollipop. When a dentist, or they don't do it so much anymore, they used to.
Mm-hmm.
But even now, dentists will give you like a free toothbrush, and
Yeah.
they give you something.
It's an incentive to continue to come back.
Right.
Yeah.
They used to give you the tablets, which even though you just ate them to make everything red in your mouth, you weren't going to use it for anything useful. It was a gift. It was something given to you so that you felt better about going.
That is true. Because nobody feels good about going to the dentist.
Not even dentists. So the myth acts as like a cultural scaffolding.
Yes.
It performs a structured way for a child to process those biological events, and then even though if they can't fully comprehend them, they have a structure. And children and humans crave structure.
Yes.
That's what I had on the Tooth Fairy. I mean, there's a lot more, but if we go into like every single aspect of the Tooth Fairy, I will talk until I'm hoarse, and you have things to say as well.
So let's back up a tiny little bit here. Let's go back to what I had said about giving things away.
Sure.
So you are losing a part of your body. And the reason why they burned them was so that nobody could have power over you if somebody was able to get their hands on it. Or fed it to a rat like they do in Mexico.
Or a le petite mouse.
Le petite mouse. And so, knowing that, let's talk about the Fae.
Okay.
The Fae are powerful. The Fae are all-knowing. They're older than we are. And they know the loopholes. They know the deals.
Didn't they invent the loopholes?
No, I think they did. They invented the loopholes. They wove the loopholes. So that way, as the tapestry grew, they knew where to find all the loopholes. The thing is, the Tooth Fairy, keep it in mind, fairy, that's Fae. And you are now taking a part of your body and you are actively trading it, bartering that tooth for coin, money, whatever. That is a bargain. That is a trade. That is a contract deal.
It seals the deal.
It seals it. Does it seal it for you? It's not your tooth. It's not your tooth. Now, could you be passing this down because they already have your teeth? And you are now programmed to continue to give them your children's teeth. And then your children will give them their children's teeth.
I just said how this is built to take away anxiety.
Oh,
and now you're creating anxiety.
I am creating the darker version of the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
So you have this bartering, this giving and taking. What is one of the first rules of dealing with any supernatural creature? And I'm not just talking about the Fae, I'm talking about every single thing that goes bump in the night. What is the biggest rule of thumb? Do not invite it in. Never invite. They will come in on their own, but that's different. You didn't invite them. It's easier to banish something that came in without your permission.
You have a threshold.
Yes, but you do not have that if you have invited it in. And when you put that tooth under that child's pillow, expecting in exchange, you're inviting the Fae into your home. Now, yes, we have a bowl of candy that we put out, which we need to refresh because it's old candy and it probably they don't want it anymore. But that's different. Giving gifts to the Fae, while sometimes seen as a bad thing, if you are being respectful.
Technically, we're not giving them a gift.
No.
We're offering it to whoever may come by.
Exactly. So it's not just the Fae, it's whoever it wishes us well, would like a piece of candy, and then do what you gotta do. But as long as the doing what you gotta do is good, because we're not making an exchange. When we are not thanking, because you do not ever thank the Fae. Don't. If you see a gift, and you will know that it is a gift of the Fae, sitting outside your house, do not accept it. Because if you accept it, you have agreed to whatever you don't even know.
Do not eat that carport chocolate cake.
Do not eat that carport chocolate cake. So now that you have given the tooth fairy your child's tooth, they have power over you or your child that they can use against you. And you have invited this creature into your home that now it can come in and go as it pleases. Do you have things to protect you? Do you have cold iron discs? Do you have a moonbeam spell at the ready because you're going to need it? Do you have true sight goggles? You're going to need those as well. Or just a horseshoe to look through. Because now you have a new risk. You've made this exchange. What is it that they want in exchange for this contract? Now, the Fae are forever, so they can call in a deal at any time. So it may not be your child. It could be one of your great grandchildren. But you don't know when that it's not your turn to pay the price. So, how do you know your child is not a changeling? It could happen. Yeah, I know they normally like newborns, but I don't think they're going to be too picky when it comes to a juicy child to turn into a changeling. But tell me what you hear when you are looking at your child and trying to figure out if your child is a changeling. Now, they may have a voracious appetite for only specific foods. They could be pale or frail or sickly, but not always. They can be highly intelligent or underdeveloped intellectually. They can have a weird skill or focus. They can have a hyperfixation. They might have pointed teeth and possibly a beard, but that doesn't usually happen. That one's a rare one. They may not make eye contact. You may not actually see them eat because they might be picky. They may not speak well beyond their years. And they might like to have your attention, but not fully. So when they're not being paid attention to, that's when they get to be themselves, and you might catch them dancing or being, free. But at the same time, they also crave your attention and your focus. But wow, that sounds a lot like autism.
I was going to say, it sounds like my parents got a changeling and I'm it.
I think that in a lot of cases of what the old traditions believed were changelings were really just children who were autistic or ADHD or some type of intellectual disability, and they just couldn't acknowledge that disability because those
maybe it gave them a way to reason.
It is. It's a way to reason. Now, unfortunately, with these babies and these children, they were often left in the woods to die because they thought they were bringing them back to the Fae. But don't do that. If you think your child is a changeling, there are ways. Again, moonbeam spells. You can do the goggle. You can have the true sight goggles. Cold iron, hard to get, can be done. And just get yourself a horseshoe and look through the
Fair
horseshoe,
enough.
and you'll see its true self. So the darker side of a tooth fairy. Don't make deals with the Fae.
But do brush your teeth.
Do brush your teeth. You nasty. That's all I had. I had to make it dark. I couldn't leave it alone.
No, that's fine. That is absolutely fine.
Honestly, I think my favorite portrayal of the Tooth Fairy, and I think it was in the second Hellboy movie, is when there's like an auction house, and maybe it wasn't Hellboy. I don't remember. There's an auction house, and they open this box, and these little things come out, and they basically eat everybody down to the bone. Yeah, I think it was Hellboy too. It was the second one because it was the fairies and stuff were coming out.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
The first one stands out in my mind. So
yeah,
I'm
this
trying to think of the
was
second.
great, but I'm a Hellboy stan. I love me some Hellboy, so but that always that stuck in my head. I loved that concept of the tooth fairies like eating the bodies. Like they were just going. They weren't just stopping. They were eating everything. You know, these little voracious little blue monsters. I loved it. So I wanted to fixate on the lore of the Fae, because if you are making it, I mean, don't fuck around with the Fae, and trust me, the elves will go too far.
So it may benefit you to maybe give it to a small mouse.
Give it to a small mouse.
Or a rat.
Or burn it in a fireplace.
Or burn it, or toss it up to the sun.
Or on the roof.
Or on the floor.
Or on the floor.
That's the great thing about our world not being so small, that we have so many traditions. Sorry. Humanity has so many ways that they go about the same thing.
Yes.
Those breed new ideas. They breed life into your world. What a dreary place this would be if only we had the one thing.
It would be so boring.
If only we had the one song. Or we only had the one tooth fairy. Or we only had the one car.
The one unicorn.
The one tree.
Yeah, it's a variety. It's important. And again, that also goes into just the humanity of it. Variety is good. Variety is important. It's beautiful. We can't be homogenous. It sucks.
So now you know about the tooth fairy.
Yes, we do.
As much as you can know. Perhaps create your own traditions.
Definitely.
Use what you have heard or what you have learned. Maybe look into it and create your own family's tradition, or find out why you've always done it this way. I'm sure they would love to share with you how they came about their traditions and the stories that they have as children from when they lost their first tooth to the tooth fairy.
And that's something that they can share with their grandchildren, and then you can share with your grandchildren. And it's a rite of passage. You just don't have to make it weird, like I do. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining us on this adventure in the Tooth Fairy land. And if you like weird stuff like we like weird stuff, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And hey, why don't you follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram at Folkloric Podcast for both of them, Folkloric Podcast. Or you can email us at folkloricpod@gmail.com. Leave suggestions or stories about the strange and mystical if you feel inclined. And hey, share some of your tooth fairy stories with us. You can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.